Hey there, it's Dan Stous at Flagstone Financial Management, and today I want to chat about the trade tensions between the U.S. and China continuing to heat up, the what's at stake for markets, and how these two economic giants are tied together. Now, the U.S. just hit the pause button on tariffs for most of our trade partners for 90 days, but not China. So that's got the spotlight still focused on this trade tension between the US and China. So we're talking tariffs of 145% on Chinese goods over here. And in response to that, China is imposing 125% tariffs on US goods over there. So things are still shifting, but US and China are so economically intertwined that it's really hard to see that unraveling completely. We know that global economies and markets they do tend to bounce back despite some short-term bumps. So as an investor, it's important to keep your eye on the long game. Take a look at this chart showing 2 decades of trade from the US side. We're buying way more from China than we're selling. There's a goods trade deficit of 295 billion. Even tossing in services we export, it's still a hefty $263 billion gap. Now with tariffs over 100%, prices for traded goods could more than double if nothing changes. Investors are pretty antsy about that, not just about higher costs, but also wondering how far these trade talks will push. Now, the White House pausing tariffs on other countries for 90 days hints they're still aiming for deals. Back in 2018 and 2019, companies showed some grit, tweaking supply chains and eating costs. Today's tariffs are tougher, but there's still hope for agreements down the road. Now, this chart tracks major currencies over the last 2 years, all starting at 100. And it's been kind of a wild ride. Volatility's up, and the US dollar index just dipped to the lower end of its 3-year range, which is kind of surprising since most folks thought tariffs would pump up the dollar. Over in China, things aren't exactly rosy. Their GDP growth slowed to 5.4% by late 2024, and 2025 forecasts are now under the government's 5% goal. Beijing's mulling some more stimulus on top of last year's massive 10 trillion yuan package. Also, the People's Bank of China let the yuan slide to its weakest since September of 2023. A cheaper yuan could make exports more competitive against tariffs, but it's a gamble that might spark capital flight and shake things up financially. There's been some chatter about China possibly selling off US treasuries, causing some moves in the bond market. It's hard to pin down for sure, but check out this chart. China only holds about 2.1% of government debt. Most treasuries, they're owned right here at home by US folks, companies, and government groups. Even if China dials back its treasury stash, it might cause some moves in the markets a bit short term, but countries keep buying treasuries for a reason. The US dollar and treasuries are still the most stable out there, earning them that safe haven status. With all the US China trade noise, markets have still shown that they can hang in there over time. Sticking with a diversified portfolio tied to your long term goals is the way to go. Expect some trade tensions to stay for a while, no matter how tariffs shake out in the coming months. We hope you found these insights helpful. If you want to discuss any market concerns or economic concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks.